Contrary to what most people believe and what it might seem like, I was once a child. And when I was a child, maybe 10 years old or so, my mother was making dinner. And she went to take a casserole dish out of the oven. It was one of those glass pan things. And she went to grab it, but forgot to put on an oven mitt. Consequently, she burned her hand very badly. Now, that was the last time that she ever made some sort of mistake like that. But there are several instances since, and to this day, when she loses her sunglasses, she loses her keys, she forgets where it is that she put her purse, or she forgets where it is that she put her phone, something along those lines. And she always says the thing that old people say, I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to me. And it is that belief that ensures that she will always continue to lose those things and misplace everything in the way that she does. Because in her mind, it is acceptable that those things happen. It's just small things that is no big deal. And she thinks it's just a part of who it is that she is. But forgetting your keys or misplacing your purse is the same level and or type of mistake as forgetting to put on an oven mitt. Now, granted, forgetting to put on the oven mitt had much larger consequences. But because of those larger consequences, she looked at not putting on the oven mitt differently. While she believed that it was okay to misplace her keys, she no longer believes that it's okay to forget an oven mitt. So she does not do that anymore. And that is how most things work, really all things work in life. When you accept these little issues or these things that you do, then you ensure that you will continue to do them. People have this with all kinds of things, not just forgetting about stuff. Maybe you can't get anywhere on time. Like people like to claim that they have ADD and time blindness. That's nonsense. The problem is that they believe that they can't be on time. And they believe that they can't be on time because on some level they believe that them being acceptable is late. If they truly did not believe that being late was acceptable, they would no longer be late because they would find a way to ensure that they are on time because, again, they refuse to accept the idea of showing up somewhere late. When people hit the snooze button and say they're not a morning person, it is because on some level they believe that it's okay to sleep in. They believe that it's okay to skip their workouts. They believe that it's okay to cheat on their diet. They believe that it's okay to put things off until tomorrow. And that is why they continue to do them. It is not because that is inherently who it is that they are as a person. These are not some immutable character traits that you're just naturally angry or late or you sleep in or you procrastinate or you're lazy or whatever the case may be. All of these are habits that you have cultivated. And the reason that they got cultivated is because in your mind somewhere, you have decided that it was okay. You minimize your mistakes. You minimize the bad choices that you make. You minimize all of these things that you shouldn't be doing to the point that it seems like it's okay. And because you believe that it's okay to do it, you continue to do it. This is why people stay stuck in this same loop and they think this is just who they are. I'm just type A. I'm just whatever stupid little labels it is that they assign themselves. But it's not that you're that. It's that you have made yourself into that. And what has facilitated you making yourself into that type of person is your belief that it is okay. Because if you believe that a thing is okay, you will continue to do it. You could tell yourself whatever tales that you like about an eating disorder, but that tales that you tell yourself about that eating disorder is also telling yourself that it is okay to overeat because it is justifiable. If you rejected that and decided that overeating was absolutely unacceptable, you would no longer do it. You could tell yourself whatever tales you like about how you were lazy because of whatever the case may be, but those tales are also you telling yourself that it is okay to be lazy. And because of that, you will continue to be lazy. If you thought that it was not at all acceptable to be lazy, then you would no longer be lazy. If you thought that it was not acceptable to put off your workout, then you would not be putting off your workout. If you thought that it was not acceptable to drink or to smoke, then you would no longer drink or smoke. If you thought procrastinating was not acceptable, then you would no longer be a procrastinator. Because people only do things that they find acceptable. And at the end of the day, you might tell yourself that you have an issue with all of these things. But if you truly had an issue with something, you would not do it. Because if you had burned your hand metaphorically from skipping a workout, if you had burned your hand from overeating, if you had burned your hand from being late, you would never do any of those things again. But because you don't have that immediate pain feedback in the same way, that immediate physical pain, then you allow yourself to continue doing these things. When, if you actually take a true look at your life, you do have that burning your hand pain. It's just not in the exact same immediate physical pain feedback thing. Your overeating is what it is that made you fat. Your skipping the gym is what it is that made you weak. Your being late is part of what it is that made you poor, along with your procrastination, along with your laziness, along with your sleeping in, along with all of the rest of that. All of these things is what has made you into the person that you do not want to be. It's not the same exact immediate physical feedback, but it is feedback from your actions. And if you were able to take a look at things through that lens and apply and attach that level of significance to the action in and of itself, then you would no longer believe that the action was okay. If you believe truly in your heart that being fat is a failure as a human being, which it is, and you should believe that, then you would not allow yourself to become fat. You would not allow yourself to overindulge in all of this food to become fat. If you truly believe that your continued poorness was a failure on your part as a human being, which again, it is, then you would not allow yourself to continue on with all of the behaviors, you would not allow yourself to continue on with all of the behaviors that ensure that you stay poor, because people accept their lower states, and that is why they stay in these lower states, because on some level they believe that it is okay to continue to be there. That is why they continuously run around doing the same thing with their anger issues. They believe their anger issues are okay. They believe that their procrastination is okay. They believe that they're lying or they're cheating or whatever else it is. On some level they believe it is okay. If you and people don't help with all of this stuff that they try and pitch you throughout society, saying that you shouldn't feel shame, that you shouldn't feel guilty, that you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. But not doing these things is what ensures that you will continue doing the things that not only you don't want to do, but that are not good for you to be doing. In fact, are actually bad for you to be doing. If you truly felt shame, if you truly felt guilt, if you truly felt that any of these actions were unacceptable, you would not continue doing them, because nobody stays anywhere that they are uncomfortable at, whether that's physically, whether that's emotionally, whether that's spiritually, whether that is in any context. Even when you're sleeping, if you lie in some sort of position that is unfavorable to your body, you will toss and turn until you get comfortable. That is why people do that, because they are trying to rectify the fact that they are uncomfortable. When people are outside and it starts raining and they are exposed, you see all of them trying to get somewhere to get to some sort of cover. If you've ever seen a video where someone starts shooting in public, people just scatter because they know that they don't want to continue being where it is that they are. So they start trying to do whatever it is necessary to get to some level of safety, because to them, being shot would be unacceptable, which is absolutely completely understandable. But you can also treat the remainder of your goals and the remainder of your life just like that. If you believed all of these things that you wanted to do were super important, and you not having achieved your goals was unacceptable, then you would find a way to achieve your goals at all costs, because you would not be able to tolerate anything less. If you truly felt that you not being in shape was terrible, then you would not tolerate anything less than you being in shape, and you would do whatever it took to get yourself in shape. If you believed that you not having money was unacceptable, then you would do whatever it took that was necessary to get you money in, so that you would not continue being broke, because you refuse to accept these things. Hate and intolerance, despite what society likes to tell you, are actually good things, at least when it comes to a personal level. All of this acceptance stuff is why people stay in these lower states for forever, because they accept that they're overweight. They accept that they don't make a lot of money. They accept that they don't know how to conduct themselves a certain way. They accept their lack of confidence. They accept their lack of competence. They accept their lack of charisma. They accept that no one respects, whatever the case may be. They accept these things, which is why they wind up staying exactly where it is that they are. But if you hated being what you do not want to be, then you would not continue to be it. If you refuse to tolerate being poor the way that drug addicts refuse to tolerate tolerate being sober, then you would be as rich as they are high. Look at people. Certain people refuse to tolerate certain things, and as such, they do not have them. Every single person who is fat refuses to tolerate being hungry and or having a craving that they do not satisfy. So what do? They go and satisfy that craving because they refuse to accept anything less. Yes, that leads to them being fat. Yes, that's obviously not a good thing. But the point is, they have exactly what it is that they want. You never see a fat, hungry person. You never see a sober junkie, because without money, there are people who manage to go and spend hundreds of dollars a day on crack and heroin and meth and whatever the case may be, because what's most important to them is ensuring that they do not stay sober, so they find a way to make it happen. And if you treated your life the same way that these people treat their life, you would be exactly where it is that you want to be, because as much as these people complain about stuff, they have exactly what it is that they want, because they refuse to accept anything less than that. They view them having to continue their sobriety or having to be hungry. People deal with boredom the same way. People absolutely refuse to be bored, so they do whatever it takes to keep themselves entertained. Now, granted, most of it is stupid, but the point is they accomplish their goal, because the worst thing in the world to them is being bored, so they ensure that they do not have to deal with boredom. You should be, excuse me, treating your life exactly like those people do. The people who spend all day watching Netflix and playing video games and all of that. There are the brokest people in the world on paper who have apartments or houses or whatever the case may be, and they spend the vast majority of their time sitting around playing video games. It is absolutely baffling that they are able to do that, but that is what's most important to them, so they make sure that they are able to do it. Some people are so determined to not be bored that they made millions of dollars streaming video games, and that is obviously an outlier result of that inclination or that refusal to accept a certain state. But the point is, when people refuse to accept a certain thing, they do not stay there. No one in the world stays anywhere that they are uncomfortable, period. It is an absolute impossibility. And all of these narratives that the people of the world tell you about being accepting of these things and not being hard on yourself just ensures that you will not ever get to that level of uncomfortability, of shame, of guilt that you need to ensure that you will not stay where it is that you are. And every time you brush off the little things and say, oh, it's just a few minutes of lateness, or oh, it's just hitting the snooze button once, or oh, it's just one skipped workout, oh, it's just one cheat meal, oh, it's just me losing my keys, you ensure that you will do these things again. That is the result of you not having high standards for yourself. That will eventually lead to you having no standards. When you have no code of conduct, eventually you will just conduct yourself terribly, and that is how people wind up in all of these situations. So you should be refusing to accept anything less than being where it is that you want to be. And when you truly get to that point that anything other than that is intolerable, you will also get to the point where you accomplish everything that you want to in life.